The Elizabeth Line is now Britain's busiest railway, ferrying over 4 million passengers a week on journeys from Abbeywood and Shenfield through central London and onwards via Paddington to Heathrow Airport and to Reading. In today's train sim journey, I'm going to drive this reskinned Aventra from the Creators Club, from London Paddington to Hayes and Harlington on Train Sim World 4, and with a bit of Train Sim classic magic, we'll complete the journey into Heathrow Terminal 5.
Hello, welcome to London Paddington Station. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to take the Elizabeth Line train out to Heathrow Terminal 5. So first of all, let's get the cab set up. Master key is on. Slip that into forward. Put the AWS on.
TPWS and AWS operational.
And we'll get the doors open as well. Let's just turn the headlights down to marker lights only because it looks a little bit bright. For some reason this Goblin line Aventra doesn't translate too well to Great Western Express, perhaps just because of it being an older add-on. And it's a fantastic scenario, this, from the Creators Club. We've already seen a Heathrow Express train leaving the station. There's another Elizabeth Line train, and a really good reskin as well of this 710 into Elizabeth Line colours. Okay, we should have the go ahead. A slight mod as well, which improves the sounds. The sounds were really good from the original Goblin line, but this has notched them up even better. Doesn't that look amazing? Straight away we can go up to 40 miles an hour. There's a slight discrepancy that we were leaving from platform 13 because you can't do that in real life now. Platform 13 has been decommissioned. But we'll forgive that discrepancy because of the absolute amount of traffic that's been created on this scenario. It really does feel pretty good. And of course, the other thing to address is the fact that on Train Sim World, you can't go through to Heathrow Terminal 5 or any of the branches. So we are going to do a little bit of jibbery pokery by transferring to Train Sim Classic, and I've slightly modified the stations a little bit to give it a little bit of a feel. for what it should be, because of course the original modification to allow the Heathrow branch is very, very old. We have got the green again now. We did have a single yellow briefly. This Great Western Express was the first, certainly main line, to be done for the UK for train sim World Force. It's showing its age a bit. I'd love to see it be redone and have the overhead lines done all the way through to Reading, and perhaps a couple of the branches put in as well. I always felt they missed a trick really. Why on earth did they build it and have the overhead lines in their half-built state as they were at the time? You could have future-proofed it a little bit. Got a couple of mods in place. We've got sound mod for the 710. It was already pretty good, but it improves it even more. There is the Heathrow Express. Keep an eye on these signals. Oh, that's changed to green now. Acton Main Line is our very first stop. Of course, this is representing a period from a couple of years ago, just before the main tunnel sections of the Elizabeth line were opened, when in actual fact you did get Elizabeth line trains running out of the terminus platforms. They actually were doing this last Monday, on Easter Monday. But of course it's very unusual. Stop, Acton Main Line, not too far away. It looks as though we've got a red signal ahead of us, so we need to keep an eye on that. It's changed to yellow now, so that should take us into the platform. Just being a bit too cautious in our braking. Very nice reskin. Captures the Elizabeth line train very nicely indeed. Of course, the interior is still the overground, so we've got the overground colours. That'd be nice to complete the job and do the inside, but I don't know whether you can do that. Hard to know exactly what the difference is between a 710 and a 345. Of course, the length's all wrong. I mean, we're operating this as a 5-car unit, and probably would be possible with a bit of jibbery pokery in the formation designer to get the full length unit. Of course, the other option was to do a full run to Reading, which is perfectly possible in Train Sim World 4, but without the overhead lines, I just couldn't quite bring myself to do that. Of course, there isn't an Aventra in Train Sim Classic, so we're actually going to be using the Class 700 for that brief spell through the tunnels. I thought the cab's not exactly the same, but it's got similarities, so it's doable. Again, we've got potential red before the platforms, although has it cleared to yellow now? Yep, I think we're okay. Ealing Broadway is our next stop. There is a bit of a mod put in place as well, that's why there's a bit of extra graffiti, and I think some of the foliage is changed a touch. The best of stops. You could just about step out onto the platform there, couldn't you? That's all right. And again, we've got Reading on the front, but I don't think that's changeable. If I just spawned in the train at Paddington, it would have just said out of service. Not in service. Too far away to West Ealing. I'm liking the fact that there is clearly a train in front and it requires a little bit more effort in terms of driving. see, we have got the Elizabeth line roundels on the train itself. Nice to have them on the platforms, really. Hanwell, the next stop. I mean, there's sort of a mixed opinion as to whether people would love this to be an add-on, a full Elizabeth line add-on or not, because it's something that's very modern. But of course, the elephant in the room really is the tunnel section, because of course it's automated, so the only thing the driver actually has to do is to open and close the doors. And of course you could have it amended a little bit so that there's the manual possibility. Yeah, so you could effectively do it so that it's either automated or it's manual. Give you the option. I've seen a comment, and I've no idea how true it is, that there'll be reluctance for security reasons to provide too much information about the Heathrow branch. But even if they didn't put the Heathrow branch in, there's nothing stopping it being from Abbey Wood or Sheffield through to Reading. Can't see them doing both. Good if they did. Nice as well to give the Aventra a little bit of a extra stretch of legs by being able to go a little bit faster than you can on the Goblin line. Nice to see these old stations. Busy seeing at Southall. For some reason, they seem to be getting on the trains without any great to-do. There's no hop, skip and a jump. Some slightly odd movements in places. So Hayes and Harlington our next stop.
Please keep personal belongings with you at all times.
Now, I wasn't sure whether it was possible to go beyond Hayes and Harlington, but I found a way around it. So much industry about. I'm getting no idea how accurate the scenery is. It's very old print, but still, I think it's quite nicely done. I know there's plenty of models that actually were done for Train Sim Classic that are actually used in Train Sim World 4.
TPWS and AWS operational.
Passengers are reminded that smoking is prohibited at all stations and on all train services. This includes e-cigarettes.
Wasn't even sure if this was possible because I've never driven the approach over the flyover into the Heathrow Airport branch, and you can't set it on scenario creator. You couldn't set it as a destination, but you spawn the train in and you can set it to wherever you want. About 25 miles an hour up the early part of the flyover, and then we go over to 50. The 50 marker, so we'll of course have to wait until the whole of the train goes through. There we are. Get too carried away. So you rejoin us in Train Sim Classic, and okay, you might say, well, wrong train, but I thought it's a reasonable compromise. We don't have the Aventra in Train Sim Classic yet. Hopefully Dovetail Games will bring that out. They've done it with the 385 using the same model from Train Sim World 4 to Train Sim Classic, but I thought, well, at least we do have the Heathrow branch represented. But it was a bit old, so I've done a little bit of work just trying to bring it slightly up to scratch. Not overly enamoured with the textures. Really, this could do with being completely dark, the track textures. Maybe if they do bring out the Aventra, I might be inspired into doing a little bit more. It says Heathrow Terminal 1, 2 and 3. Well, nowadays, of course, it's Terminals 2 and 3, otherwise known as Heathrow Central. want to get any videos of this section, there is a brief YouTube video with a cab view, but it's only a short bit of it, very edited. There is a DVD, I think, somewhere of the Heathrow Airport branch, but there's nothing on YouTube. Now for the station, I've changed it because I thought the original Cuju one was absolutely horrible, really, so I've used one of the Moorgate branch, and of course only for my own use, won't be like I'm uploading it. I thought it does the job because it is at least a tube-shaped station, which is how it is in real life. With the original Cuju version as well, you couldn't actually gain access from here to Terminal 5, Platform 4, so I had to put in a crossover, and that involved a bit of modifying the tunnels. Again, you could see bits that could do with a little bit of work on. Terminal 4 over to the left platforms, and it's not like the tube version of the Heathrow route. You can't actually gain access to terminals 5 and 4. That goes round in a bit of a loop, but on this branch you'd have to go back to Heathrow Central and change trains. I've tried to represent the Terminal 5 platforms a little bit more like it is in real life. There's one or two more photos of that knocking about, so at least we've got the escalators in and tried to put a bit of life into the concourse and just make it slightly more realistic. The glass panels as well. Well, I thought it was a little bit different. I hope you've enjoyed this run on the Elizabeth line from Paddington through to Heathrow Terminal 5, Platform 4. And if you have enjoyed the video, then if you are able to like and subscribe it, I'd be tremendously grateful. So here we are, Heathrow Terminal 5, Platform 4. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and until next time, it's goodbye.